Among the liturgical and hymnographic collections compiled by Saint George the Athonite, which are distinguished by the abundance and diversity of their hymns, a special place belongs to the Octoechos. George the Minor describes this collection with these words: "The great Octoechos, the adornment of the churches," while Saint George the Athonite himself calls it holy and the illuminator of souls. The Octoechos has survived to this day in its complete form, and its text is preserved in numerous manuscripts from various centuries. The most important among them is a manuscript from the 11th century, Iveron 45, which was written by the very hand of Saint George the Athonite. This manuscript is truly unique. It contains an introductory colophon left by Saint George. This colophon may be conventionally divided into two parts. The first part contains essential information regarding the translation process of the book, while the second part provides liturgical rules and guidelines. According to the colophon, Saint George the Athonite began compiling the Octoechos upon the order of his spiritual fathers. He writes, "By order of my spiritual fathers, I undertook to translate it completely." The uniqueness of the Octoechos compiled by Saint George lies in the fact that in this collection he gathered hymns from various Greek manuscripts and edited the previously existing Georgian hymns, both translated and original. Concerning the Greek manuscripts, he writes, "We could not find such a rich book in Greek in which all hymns would have been written in one place, so that we could have copied them in sequence." And about the Georgian sources, he adds, "Those that are Georgian and have been written down by us are exceptionally good and highly desirable." The unmatched nature of this Octoechos also lies in the fact that Saint George the Athonite included in it hymns not only from various Greek manuscripts but also from works composed by Georgian hymnographers. It is exactly on this basis that the Holy Father asserts, and let no one doubt that he might find somewhere, either in Greek or in Georgian, an Octoechos equal to this. His colophon provides interesting details about the process of translating the Octoechos. For example, Saint George the Athonite writes in one place, "I translated it with much effort, being sick." And elsewhere, regarding hymns he translated at the monastery of Saint Simeon the Wonderworker, he says, "You, however, copy them in sequence. The pain of translation is no longer your burden." Elsewhere he notes, "Do not think that I have seen but some little and negligible trouble translating and transcribing it. The Lord knows." In one of the colophons of the Mineon, the Holy Father speaks of the hymns dedicated to the most holy Theotokos that were included in the Octoechos, saying, "Within my translated Octoechos I have written down 140 hymns in honor of the most holy Mother of God." A study of the hymnographic material makes clear that Saint George the Athonite possessed an extraordinary musical education in both traditional Georgian and Greek chanting. Regarding the Georgian chanting, he specifies that he began studying chant in Tauklarjeti, specifically at Hahuli Monastery. When discussing several foreign hermoi, which he directly translated from Greek into Georgian, he explicitly clarifies, "These foreign hermoi I knew in Greek, and it was fitting to set their melodies in Georgian in the same manner." A comparison of the stichera included in the Octoechos with their Greek originals revealed that Saint George the Athonite had not translated the Greek text word for word. The reason for this is the consideration of the musical aspect of the hymn. Moreover, when translating new sets of stichera, he always endeavors to take into account the hermoi already established in liturgical practices. As an example, we may cite the troparia on Beatitudes, which form part of the hymnographic material of the Octoechos. Saint George the Athonite was the first to arrange the troparia on Beatitudes according to the system of 8 tones. In this context, significant information is provided by a particular 11th century copy of his manuscript, the Opisa manuscript A93, dated 1093. The scribe of this manuscript, Athanasius, the former Arwand, says of the Troperia on the Beatitudes, "Whatever heimos corresponded to them, whether from Lord I have cried or from the oaths, our most holy Father George the Athonite translated the hymns of each tone according to it." The cited quotation shows that when translating the Troparia on the Beatitudes, George the Athonite took into account the well-known hermoi, both of Lord I have cried and of the oaths. It should also be noted that when translating the hymnographic material of the Troparia on the Beatitudes, Saint George the Athonite sets aside the idiomela of the source text and instead follows the automela and hermoi. Saint George the Athonite's edition of the Octoechos gained universal recognition and distribution in the Georgian Orthodox Church. As proof of this, there are the aforementioned Troparia on the Beatitudes, which to this day are sung according to the hermoi specified by Saint George the Athonite. Work on the Octoechos proceeds in two directions, the text critical and the musical. The text critical aspect involves the collation of various manuscripts and the establishment of a critical text. Where the Greek original is available, the critical text is compared with it. The musical aspect involves searching for the hermoi in notated manuscripts, specifically in the manuscripts of Saint Khomasuridze, Saint Octoechos Chelidze, the Karbalashvili brothers, and Razdan Hundadze.